Hello. You can't have a music career after you won a casting show? That's not right, as Beth Hart proves. For many years now she's having her international career. She played with Joe Bonamassa and she played for Barack Obama and Michelle Obama at the White House with Jeff Beck. She is presenting her new album, which will be released in April this year. We are curious what she will tell us about Better Than Home and about her life. My name is Ann-Kathrin and you are watching Audiophile TV. Enjoy.
Ow, D, O, feel. Ow, D, O, feel. Ow, D, O, feel. Ow, D, O, feel. Feel.
Awesome.
Hello, Beth.
Hello.
Do you think you could still play the swan from the Carnival of the Animals from Saint-Saëns on the cello? Because you studied classical cello, right?
Yes, later after piano, yeah. But I never heard of the piece that you said.
Okay.
Yeah. But I loved playing the cello. I played for many, many years, starting in the 4th grade until I quit school in the 11th grade. And a few years went by. I finally got a record deal, and when I got the money, I immediately went and bought a cello, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna play so good, and I put it up with my music, and I was just awful, and I realized, it was something I did for years, and I loved it, but I never really had the gift for it, my bowing was gone after not playing for some years. But it's funny, my dad was just at the house right before I left on tour, and I have my cello sitting in the corner in the living room, and he says, why aren't you playing the cello? Why aren't you working on it? And I was like, it was a wonderful time in my life, but it's gone. It's at a different part of my life, yeah. I love it, though. I love the instrument.
I think you have to practice at least 3 or 4 times a week if you want to keep
Keep
it
going.
Yes.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's funny, at the Kennedy Center honor, I met some amazing people there, but the highlight for me was meeting Yo-Yo Ma. And
Wow.
Yo-Yo Ma, I went and saw him when I was a young girl because I loved his playing, his most wonderful cellist. And when I was walking into the elevator to go upstairs in the hotel after the performance, he was there in the elevator, and he looked at me in the eye, and he came up and he put his arms around me and he started rocking me back and forth. And he didn't say anything, he just rocked me back and forth. And oh God, I just thought it was the most amazing thing in the world. Love him so much, yeah.
And he's also doing a lot of crossover, right? He's from the classical music scene,
He's been doing some different, really cool, yeah.
Is in your music you also combine different types of music or different genres. When will you release your first jazz album?
I don't know if I ever will release a jazz album. I never really think about what I'm gonna do. I just kind of go where the opportunity presents me. And it's the same way in my writing. I don't really think about, okay, now I'm gonna write this kind of record, or I'm gonna write this kind of song. I don't do that. I just kind of show up to the piano and I let it show me the way. And I just follow wherever it naturally feels to go. Yeah.
So you normally sit at the piano for composing?
Yeah, I use piano as my main place to compose, and a little tiny guitar and bass sometimes to compose, but mainly always the piano. Yeah, that's where I'm very comfortable.
What is first, the lyrics or the melody?
Always the music first for me. Unless I'm co-writing with another writer, sometimes they will have an idea or something, we'll go from there. But when I'm writing on my own, it's always the music first, whether it be the melody or the chord progressions. And I try and get that together. And then that music will bring up a feeling in me, a subject to talk about, to narrate about, and then the lyric will begin to come. But it's always a lot harder for me to write the lyric than the music. The music comes pretty fast, but usually the lyrics take time for me, yeah.
So you don't have the intention today, I will write a love song or something about, okay.
Just depending on how I'm feeling and what the piano tells me. Yeah, it just, the music will tell me, yeah.
But what would you say, which is more important for you or from your music? Is it the melody or is it the lyrics? Because you're writing a lot of personal songs, a lot of autobiographical songs.
Well, I love the music. It gives me a feeling of home and comfort, you know. It always has. I think that's why I started playing in the first place when I was really little. I feel close to God. I feel close to angels. I feel protected. It's like a church. So I love that. The music is very important. But the lyric is kind of like the heart of the truth, I think. And that's why it is harder for me with the lyric, because I think I have a lot of layers of denial that keep me feeling safe. So I have to rip past those layers of denial to find the truth and really feel whatever's really going on inside. For instance, there's a song on this record, Better Than Home, that is for my father, called Tell Her You Belong to Me. And my father left all of us when I was young. He left my mother for another woman. And of course that was very painful. But I'd written the music and I loved the music, but I couldn't figure out what to say, and the lyric was not coming. And I couldn't understand, what the heck is this song about? And I decided not to throw it away because I loved the music so much. The music wouldn't let me give up the ghost, searching for it. And then finally, I realized why it was so hard to write it. Is because it was about that time in my life that was very painful. And I needed to visit that and talk about that. Obviously, that's what was going on inside. So when I started to write about it, once I finished, and it took me forever, once I finished, I was so happy that there was no anger or blame towards my father in the song. There was instead this great act of self-empowerment to say, no matter where you go, no matter where you run to, I am never going to let you go. So no matter how long you're gone, if I don't see you for another 50 years, I am never going to give up on my love for you. I'm never going to let you go from my heart. So you tell her you belong to me, because you're my father, and this is where you belong. And it felt so good to have that, not feeling like a victim, but instead of having unconditional love for my father. And I ended up dedicating this whole record to my dad. I love my father, you know, and he's back in my life today. So see?
Maybe he had the intention because there was like a feeling that you're writing for him this record.
I think that my father went through a lot of pain in his childhood, and that I think it's very easy to judge your parents, you know, but the beauty about getting older is you start to realize that we're all human beings trying to do the best that we can. You know, it's hard. You know, we know what we're taught growing up, and then we spend a lifetime maybe trying to learn another way, but it's hard. It's ingrained into us, you know. And I see my dad very much like a beautiful man now, but also like a child who was trying to find his way and do the best that he could. And there was time there that he couldn't be there for me. He couldn't be there for my mother. He couldn't be there for us. It doesn't make him bad. It makes him human, you know.
And when we're getting older, we realize that, or how life goes. So we also split from relationships or something like this. So as a child, we can't understand this.
No, yeah. Even as an adult, I couldn't understand it. I didn't start to really understand my dynamic with my father until I was in my late 30s. And I don't know if that had to do with a combination of just getting older, therapy, a lot of therapy, and also being married to a man who has been very good to me for many years. And I think he's helped to fill some of this insecurity that I felt no good because I couldn't have that male energy love to be there for me. And I've had that now with Scott. So I think that long-term love from a man has really helped to heal some of that in me. and maybe help me to not be so angry with my father and instead being more understanding and accepting and grateful, you know.
And being angry also can block the energy, the
Yeah.
positive energy, right?
Yeah, and that anger is just no, ugh, yuck. Rebuke it and bind it. Yeah, it just doesn't get you anywhere, but down. Yeah, yeah.
But when you are on stage and singing these songs about your personal life, your personal feelings, are you sometimes moved, maybe moved to tears, and does this make it difficult to sing sometimes?
You know, if you would ask me that question like 5 years ago, I would have said absolutely not. I never get choked up. It's totally cool. But the thing that I'm noticing now is with this album, because I've been touring it now in the States, and I've just come here now for a promo in Europe. We start up again in New Zealand coming up here. Is there's been a few times I've gotten a little bit choked up.
What had happened in the last 5 years?
I mean, I hope I've grown a little bit in the last 5 years, you know. You know, like I said, I've done a lot of therapy. I also started taking medication for bipolar disorder, and I have had bipolar disorder since I was a young girl. And one of the ways I tried to deal with it when I was young was by taking drugs and alcohol, and I got very, very sick and really lost my way in my life for a long time there. But I refused to take medication for the illness. And then when I was 35, after being sober for more than a handful of years, I had a major breakdown again. And that's when I said, okay, I'll take the medication for the bipolar. And this has helped me tremendously. Now I'm going on my 8th year of taking this medication. And it's not always perfect, of course. It's a mental illness. It's going to have its ups and downs. But this has helped me so much in my life, with my work, with the relationships with my parents, with being able to be less hard on myself, less ashamed of myself. For so many years, I felt so much shame. And this is a natural part of bipolar disorder, to harm yourself and to think poorly of yourself. And so with this medicine, it has helped me so much. So maybe that has partly to do with being more in touch with my feelings, but not so afraid to be in touch with the feelings, you know. Maybe when I was younger, I was more afraid to be in touch with it, so I would shut it down. I would write about it, I would sing about it, but I'd sing more about my demons and my shame. Whereas now it seems like I'm singing more about my faith. And I think that that's probably in due part to becoming more balanced in my mind, you know, and not being so afraid to feel the stuff, you know, the stuff inside, yeah. I'm very grateful, yeah.
But does your husband also be like a medicine for you?
Oh, always, yes, of course, yeah. And when I met him is when I was at my darkest period, when I was really, really strung out and everything was falling apart. And he was the one who was at the hospitals every day and rocking me to sleep, you know. And he's been the greatest thing that's ever happened to me in my life. Yeah, he's the most important part of my life, other than God. He's the most important part of my life.
More important than the music?
Yes, of course. Oh, yes, of course. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Love is more important than my music. Yeah. I adore making music, but my relationship with God has got to be first, or there is no gratitude for my life. And if there's no gratitude for my life, there is no music, you know. And my relationship with Scott is so, it's everything to me. If I hadn't met Scott, I probably would have died, and there would have been no more music. When I met Scott, I felt so ashamed that I didn't think I deserved to make music anymore anyway. I'd stopped making music. So Scott's everything, yeah.
So are there some songs on this new album dedicated to your love?
Oh yeah, of course. On every record I make, there's always at least 1 or 2 songs for Scotty.
It is a hidden, are those like hidden messages, or
Oh no, they're very out in the open.
Okay.
There's 2 songs on the record, Better Than Home, that are specifically for Scott. One is a song called Mechanical Heart.
One of my favorite songs.
You like it?
Yes.
Good. Yeah. Good. Thank you. And in this song, I confess to him the obvious weaknesses I have about myself. He does not have mental illness. He does not have anger. He does not have selfishness. He is a very generous and loving person all the time.
Wow.
And I can't believe it. It's just like, my God, is there anything wrong with you? And there is just not. He is just pure goodness. And sometimes I feel very, very sad for him because I cannot give him this kind of perfect love. So in the song, I promise him that I'm never going to quit trying to bring him all of this heaven that he brings to me.
I think that's more important maybe. If you never stop trying, you have to try.
Sorry, I'm crying. I'm tired. It's been a long day.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Should we finish or have a
No,
break?
I just need a second. It's just, I love my husband, and
Sure.
I'm really
Should I give you a
emotional.
hug? Oh.
Yeah. Thank you. This always happens when I've been working really hard and it's been a long day, and then I talk about Scott because
Okay.
Scott is like the most
Yes.
amazing man, and I'm so lucky, I really am so lucky. And so when I talk about that song, I just want to bring him the love that he's brought to me,
Do you need something?
I'm okay. I'm just very dramatic, and I'm a big crybaby, so forgive me. I'm
Don't
tired.
worry.
I need to sleep. Are my eyes really red?
No, it's okay.
It's okay?
Do you need
Yeah.
anything, something
No, I'm okay.
to drink or
No, I'm good.
girls?
Girls being girls. And let's see, the other song that's for Scott is a song called We're Still Living in the City. And this song chronicles a couple's relationship through all the ups and the downs of life that they go through together. But the one thing that never changes, the one thing that is constant and stable, is this crazy love that she feels for her man. And that really is true. Even when he drives me up the wall and I just want to hit him, I'm always crazy in love with him. Every night.
Oh, that's so touching.
I'm so mushy. I'm such a goofball. I don't care.
But this is one of my other favorites. I love Better Than Home.
Thank
Sure.
you.
We're Still Living in the City, Mechanical Heart, and As Long as I Have a Song.
Thank you.
These are my
Love as long as I have a
absolutely
song.
favorite
Thank
songs.
you. God, you got quite a feel. It's awesome, man. Awesome.
But
That's great.
what could be better than home? I don't understand if there's something better than home.
Oh, yeah. When I was a little girl, our family, we had such an amazing life together. And then when my mom and dad split, I don't know why it broke my heart the way that it did, but it just broke it apart, and I just couldn't get over it. And then a series of events started happening that was very, very difficult for me. And I remember dreaming about this home that I had, and I thought, I'm never going to know what this kind of love feels like again. It's gone. And then I meet Scott, and it changes, and I get medicine for mental illness, and I get better. And I get to get sober, and I get to make music that I love, and I realize that it's better than any of the dreams that I had of getting my family back. It became better than that. It became real life and surviving things and getting through this and not quitting, not giving up, receiving the blessings. I believe that we all are given so many blessings by God, but He can't force us to accept them. We have to open up our hearts, our minds, our eyes, and see and accept them and say thank you, you know. And I feel like in my life I have fought so hard against these blessings for so many years, and now it seems like I'm more willing to open up and say thank you, you know. And I think this album, this is what this album is about. Yeah.
And is being on stage also better than home, or is
yeah.
is stage like
yeah.
home?
Oh yeah. I use that as a metaphor so I don't have to explain forever like I just did to you what the song is about. So I use this as a quick metaphor for being on the road. I really am happier when I'm on the road. At home, I like to cook, I like to garden, but I get scared to leave the house, so I don't really leave the house. So when I hear about the road, it's this different. It's like I'm not afraid to leave and go out and live on the road. So yeah, I like it.
And you have a lot of energy when you are on stage. How many calories do you burn? Do you know this?
I don't burn enough. I wish I'd burn more and I'd be a little thinner. Look at the guys, they roll their eyes. Because we're women, this is what we talk about, man. I'm sorry. This is what, hey. But yeah, I wish I could burn more calories up there. I think about that sometimes. I move faster and think maybe I'll shed an extra few pounds tonight.
It's like a
I
workout.
never do. Yeah, it's like a workout. It's true. Yeah. But you know what? It's funny. Whenever I get home from the road, I'm never lowering my weight. I'm usually a little more. But it could be from muscle, building muscle. Maybe.
Muscles.
Yeah, maybe.
That's the best explanation.
Yeah, I hope
always.
so.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you will also be on a tour in Germany.
Yes.
You have 4 dates here and then 3 festivals.
Yes.
What do you prefer, playing in clubs or venues or playing festivals?
Honest to God, I don't have a preference now. When I was young, I think I preferred clubs because that was what I was used to. I was afraid of doing other things. But as I've gotten older, I find that there's something so awesome about doing a festival versus a theater versus a club. And they're all special in their own unique ways. So I couldn't choose one now. I like them all. And I like it when I don't know what's coming. So if I'm on the road, I don't want to know about if tomorrow's a club or a festival or a theater. I'd rather be surprised when I get there, because then I can redesign the set list for the show. And it's just, I don't know, it's kind of fun and exciting. Who knows what's going to happen tonight, you know? And I like that. I like to not know what we're going to be doing for that.
But do you change anything?
Oh, yeah.
Except from the set list?
Every night the set list is different, yeah.
No, do you change anything with your voice or something like this? You know what I mean? Do you sing stronger, have more vibrato when you are in smaller venues? Or
the vocal volume doesn't change. It doesn't matter, because it's not you singing, it's the microphones and all the sound systems. That's what does that. So it doesn't matter if you sing louder or smaller. It's not going to make a difference in the sound system. But what I do change is the energy of the show. If I'm going to do a festival, I'll do more up-tempo pieces throughout. If I'm going to do a theater, I'll do more songs where I sit alone at the piano and I can really tell intimate stories and take the time for that. So yeah, the show will change, definitely. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have to go to the concerts in April and then to the festivals in July
to
see the different shades of Beth.
Yeah, that would be wonderful.
This is the new album, Better Than Home.
Oh yes, I'd love that. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed talking to you.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you. It's
Thank
great to hang out and talk to a girl. I've been talking to guys all day. It's so nice to be with a woman.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Beth. That's it for today. You can of course visit us on Facebook and on our website. And the recent issue of the magazine is at the newspaper stands with many, many interesting interviews and other topics. We will see you. Stay musical.
So good. You're so good at what you do. Can I look at the cover of this?
Sure you can. I can feel it. So what question do you like to tea?